Hello, I have you from China here today. As you know, everything started in China, and China is also the first country where they overcame the disease. So he is going to tell us about the whole story.
I think you know because Wuhan is closed, right? The whole city is closed on January the 23rd. And after that, we were all encouraged to stay at home. It's not that they force you to stay at home, you're encouraged to stay at home. So, meaning we usually don't go out unless we need to buy food and do groceries, and we usually just do shopping like once every 3 to 4 days, and during the rest of the time we just try to stay at home as much as possible. But if you go out, no one will catch you or something like that. It's
Okay.
okay, you can go out, but people just voluntarily stay at home, just try to reduce the mobility so that we are safer. And the government is speaking to the citizens every day, and like, please stay at home so that we can stop the spreading of virus. And I think in Shanghai people really listen to the government, that when they tell you to stay at home, they just stay at home. They don't go out a lot. So I think sometimes we will go out for a walk, a short walk. Sometimes when you have cats or dogs, you will bring your dogs, especially dogs, right? You need to bring your dogs out, and for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes walk. But we try to avoid, um, you know, going going closer to each other. If let's say several people walking on the street, we try to keep distance. Yeah, that's what we do here, and I think it went on for a while. Uh, we were encouraged to stay at home, and companies are not allowed to work from office for, I think, for 2 to 3 weeks, and then uh, after February the 10th, I think, from January the 23rd to January the 31st, I think that's the Chinese New Year holiday, right? So everyone stay at home during the holiday. And
Oh,
then from February the 1st to February the 10th, everyone is working from home. So we were working from home, not allowed to go back to office. And then after February the 10th, some company, they asked their employees to go back to work in the office, but many companies still allow their employees to work from home. So for example, my company, we work from home during the entire February, and I came back to office. I think I came back to office in the first week of March.
mm-hmm.
And
Because
so now I think we are almost back to normal life, but we still wear masks in a subway or in a shopping mall when there are a lot of people. When wherever it is crowded, we still wear a mask. But if you just go out to a park and you are staying at your own office, then no need. Yeah.
hmm And were there also any restrictions, like when you went shopping, what you should do in the shop or anything?
I we never actually do buy a lot of stuff and put it at home. Like, we never do panic shopping. During the whole like 2 months, we didn't do anything like that. We just go out and buy food. It's a little bit more expensive because of the transportation issues. 15% more expensive than usual, but it's affordable, so people don't do panic shopping at all. Yeah, and now it's back to normal.
What did people think about the outbreak when it happened for the first time?
You mean were people scared or afraid
Yes,
of
yes.
being infected, and of all the deaths going on around? I think in Shanghai it's okay because there are not many infected cases, and actually, most cases are all inbound cases, like people coming into Shanghai. Some people escaped from Wuhan in the midnight, before the city was closed, and
Mhm.
some others coming from other part of China. So we don't have a lot of domestic cases within Shanghai. So most of the cases are incoming cases. So we are not very, like depressed or stressed. I think it's okay. We were very cautious. Like people are very careful, but not
Mhm.
scared, I think. Mm. But of course, if let's say if someone close to you, let's say your neighbor, was infected and was confirmed, then of course you will be more cautious, right?
Of
And
course,
you may
yeah.
be a little bit scared, say, yeah, oh, I just spoke to him yesterday. Yeah, it could be, but since we all stay at home, so we don't really have much chance to talk to others or speak to others within 1 meter or something like that. Yeah, but we were very everyone was on alert, so we watch TV news every day, like 10 hours a day. We are watching news, see what's going on in other cities in China and what's going on worldwide. Yeah.
Hmm. And which places were closed? I heard that Wuhan was closed, and were the other cities closed, or what it was like?
I think schools were closed. They were supposed to open in late February, after the winter vacation, but they didn't open until in mid March, and some schools are still closed. They will open like in 2 weeks, um, because kids are more vulnerable. And partially because they don't listen to the doctors, or
Yeah.
they don't listen to the government. You cannot control your kids, right? You ask him to wear a mask, but you don't know what he's going to do in the school. So we think it's better to keep schools closed, and
Hmm.
uh, and also kindergartens. For shopping malls, I think shopping malls were only closed for a very short period of time because people do need to do shopping. They were all reopened in, early or mid February, although some of them went bankrupt because there's no one
I
dining,
see.
especially those
Mhm.
restaurants. There's no one dining out there, and yeah, some restaurants, they just have cash flow problems. So you can see some restaurants closing down during the past 2 months, unfortunately. Yeah, but other stores, I think it's okay. Yeah.
Mhm. And can you travel between cities in China
um, um, I
at
think
the time?
yes, you can travel, but if you came from some strongly infected areas, like if you came out from Hubei province, and it depends on different destinations. They adopt different policies. Um, some In some cities, they require those people coming from those strongly infected areas to stay at home.
Mhm.
To stay at home for like 7 days, like do not go out, and they ask their neighbors to help them deliver food to them. So you just stay at home, we deliver food to you, just make sure you're good. Like 7 days later, then you can just come out. And other cities, they let's say it depends on the medical resource of the city. For example, in Shanghai, we now do a very strict screening at the airports. But if you're not coming from the airports, if you take a railway, let's say, it should be fine. You can drive, you can take a train, and Shanghai government will not require you to quarantine yourself at home,
Mhm. Mhm.
but they will. Of course, they still ask you to try to reduce mobility and try to reduce contact with others, but they don't force you to stay at home or things like that. But if you come from the airport, right, if you take a flight into China, then you will be tested. Everyone will be tested regardless of whether you have a symptom or not. because there are a lot of cases where people carry the virus, but they have no symptom at all. They feel absolutely good. So we did a testing for everyone at the airport. So that's what we are doing now in Shanghai. This is still ongoing because a lot of people are coming from other countries. A large portion of them are Chinese, Chinese living in foreign countries like students or workers, and a small portion are real foreigners. They came to China every day, and because the government has asked all the airlines to reduce flights. I think like maybe 70-80% of the flights have been canceled, so there are only like 20-30% remaining. So now it's very expensive to buy a ticket to China, and most of these flights will land in Shanghai because Shanghai has better medical resources. So
I
most of the flights will land in Shanghai, and Shanghai will do a testing for everyone. And all the confirmed cases will be, sent to a hospital for this disease. It has several buildings, so people can be quarantined in all those buildings. Uh, I think that's what we are doing now. And a small portion of incoming travelers, they land in other cities, but most of them will land in Shanghai first. And if you're tested, you're good, then you can transfer to other cities.
I see. And what do you think that helped the most of all the measures that were in place to help stop the outbreak?
I think the most important thing is still try to reduce the chances of contact with each other. It's social distancing. Just do more video calls. Do not sit together, hang out, having a drink or having a beer, and or have a party. That's not good, because in Wuhan, before the outbreak in Wuhan, I think they arranged for a very a grand party attended by like 40,000 people, something like that. And it was a disaster because people didn't know that it will become like this. So at that time, we still don't know. So that party, I heard that um, around half of the around half of those participants in that party were confirmed later. So I think social distancing is the most important measure. And also try to isolate, put all those confirmed cases, right? Try to isolate them from their families. They should not live in the same apartment with their families, otherwise the whole family just get infected. So that's why we have those hospitals and hotels. Actually, the government confiscated a lot of hotels, for those infected ones, so you can live in that hotels, right? Do not live at home. So that your wife, your kids are still safe, you can stay in a hotel.
And you stay there for
you,
free?
you you don't need medical treatment, because a lot of people, um, if in the beginning, I think it's for free. Now, if you pay social insurance regularly, right? If you and your employer pay your social insurance every month, it's still for free. But if you don't pay that, you need to bear the cost yourself. In January and February, it's free for everyone, whether you pay social security or not. But those who live in a hotel is those who don't need medical treatment, right? They are infected, but they don't need anything. They don't need doctor, so they can live in a hotel. Um, I think most of the infected ones are those who don't need medical treatment. Only like 20%, they do need doctors and nurses, and those people will need to live in a hospital.
What is going on right now after the worst thing is over?
As I said before, our life is almost back to normal, except that you still need to wear mask uh, in the subway, right, on the train, and on a bus. So if you take public transportation, you still need to wear a mask. So that's a must. It's a requirement. Otherwise, they just don't let you in. All right. In other aspects, I think we are almost back to normal. We started to dine in. We start dining in a restaurant, and we start to go to shopping malls, and people sit together to have dinners, lunch together. Um, but we still try to avoid traveling. We try not to take a plane, not take a high speed railway to somewhere really far away. We try. We sometimes we drive to the surrounding cities. That's fine. Yeah, but we don't take a long flight. Yeah, because airports are the most dangerous places now. Yeah, we try to stay away from the airports. And in other aspects, I think the life is normal now. The
Okay.
worst period has, yeah, it's gone in China. But since for the worldwide situation is not good, so every Chinese is still very cautious. We are still watching TV news every day.
Yeah. I heard that in Hong Kong there was like a second wave.
You said in Hong Kong it went bad again, right? I think the situation is a little bit similar to that in Shanghai. They have a lot of incoming travelers, so it's hard to control. But as long as they are all incoming cases, it should be fine. If there are no domestic cases, originated from Hong Kong, it will be fine. For example, in China, a couple of days ago, we have a plane from Russia, and 25 people on the same plane were confirmed. So on the same day, we have 25 new cases, and the number looks terrible, but actually, it's just a group of people on the same plane, and they were all caught at the airport. So it's okay. It's not that dangerous, right? As long as they are identified and caught at the airport and sent to the hospital, then the city is still safe. I think it's
Yeah.
the for Hong Kong, it's similar. Like they have incoming guests every day, so the numbers fluctuates a lot. It doesn't mean that they have those newly detected domestic cases. It's different.
I see. Okay, so thank you so much for telling me about the situation in China. It is something very new for me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Bye bye.
Yeah, it's a great job.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.